It's okay to come with your boyfriend to Sunday church. It's okay to have a boyfriend. It's okay to date around. It's okay to, slide into somebody else's DMs and you married. It's okay to, you know, um, have ill ill will towards your sister or not embrace your sister. It's okay. Them things is okay in the church. Come one, come all. It's all good.
Titus 2:1. But speak thou the things which become it sound doctrine, that the aged women likewise, that they be in behavior, as become it holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of God be not blasphemed. Chaste conversations.
Shalom, welcome back to Chase Conversations. What does it really mean to be brotherly, to be sisterly? I know we don't see sisterly in the book, but we are sisters. What does it mean? That's the thing. What is your thought process being that you're showing up every Saturday? We all showed up every Saturday. We have the one sister that just seemed like she just ain't part of the group, like she just don't, you know what I'm saying? What do you do?
I would ask her.
Okay, sis, ask her what?
Just kind of gently kind of encouraging, saying, sis, we notice you're standing off to the side. Is it that you don't want to participate? Are you shy? Or, how can we help you? Do we want to just like how you encourage us to be here, we want to hear your input. We value your opinion. What do you have to share? That kind of stuff.
When you point a situation, sometimes we don't do what we think we should do. No, we don't do 9 times out of 10 what we should do. And then a lot of times we don't know what we kind of should do, right? So for some people, you that sister Dana, you just said it. You would, still be invited, still warm. You would invite her in. Maybe she didn't feel invited, because one could give off the same energy that somebody else is giving off, so she might be standoffish, and then other sisters kind of giving off the same thing because she's that way. But I like what you said, though. Just probe, ask questions, encourage, invite. I see you, sis. You got
kind of whatever it is you're doing, you could create like an icebreaker in a sense of like if you're in the middle of something, maybe you're in the middle of serving something or you're in the middle of preparing something. If you typically ask certain people to do it, maybe ask her or say, hey, we're getting ready to do this or we need some help over here. Can you help? And not just say, hey, we need your help. Can you help us out? And just walk up to her and just kind of let her know that we need her help without making it seem like you just made it. You're kind of singling her out, but you're not, because you're trying to invite her to do something so that you can get to know her.
What about Proverbs 18 and 24? A man that has friends must show himself friendly, and there is a friend that sticketh closer than a brother. And what I wanted to basically focus on is the part where showing yourself friendly, that would probably serve as like an icebreaker to the young lady. If you just went up to her and maybe just have a casual conversation, so it wouldn't feel as though she was being singled out, but just being friendly towards her and inviting her in. And, you know, I think if like a group of people are already established, maybe she don't feel the warmthness from everyone else, and it may be hard for her to, open up. But if you just present yourself friendly, maybe it will make her comfortable enough to, just start talking or feel wanted.
Right. You're a female and you have the option to hang out or be with sisters that are doing worldly things. They hang out with in environments that is not the best, like say, bars with or clubs where it's playing like, worldly music. Um, you know, the friends that she have, they all have boyfriends, things like that. And so now she's like thinking, okay, I have an opportunity to do that or choose something else. What can help that sister in that thought process, in that situation, to choose the route where there's better for her, not worldly things that are going to keep her away from the Most High? What is the thought process that she should have, or what should she do?
How does that, like, what does that do for you if you listen to this versus something else? Or, why, kind of say why or how in a couple of different ways, but just get them to come to maybe a realization and start to see like, oh, okay, maybe something does need to change, or, I really don't know why I'm doing this, without giving them the answers. Because I've been in situations where you can say a lot of stuff to try to help, but people on their own still need to, they still need to be able to see it, because then it's almost like you're telling them what to do. And if they still haven't registered and figured it out, then if you aren't telling them anything, they're still going to resort to their habits and almost kind of point the finger at you in some way later on down the road about like how you might actually be bossy or something. It could like flip on you for whatever the reason.
I had a situation similar to that just this evening before I got online, and with a relative, and very sweet person. She's divorced. She's seeing someone, and I asked her, I said, so when will I be hearing wedding bells? And she said, well, you won't be, because I don't want to do that again. So my thing is, I couldn't talk to her much longer to encourage her that it's better to marry than to burn, as it says in 1 Corinthians 7 chapter. But I'm gonna be praying, seeking Yahweh to lead me to say the right things to her so that she can understand it. She's a very nice person, but she does not know what the word says. So however he lead me, that's what I'm gonna go, with. Because, like it says in Proverbs, that we should not lean to our own understanding, and I don't want to do that, because I want him to speak through me so that she can get it,
Right.
maybe once, I plant the seed, someone's going to come and water that seed, and he's going to give the increase that will help her to get to where she needs to be, also in him as well. So,
if we found things righteous that we can do more of together, then it could be another avenue for that, sister.
I like that.
My thing is, I know you have to prove somebody first before you can actually start to trust them, before you can tell them not necessarily tell them your business or whatnot, because not everybody is, I guess, that comfortable to want to tell you what's going on. Because you gotta see people out to see what they really are. Because we still in this world, we're still women, and some women are still a little gossipy and whatnot. And then we are a little jealous too from one time, because we're the weaker vessel. So That's understandable. But when it comes to, I guess what Sister Deborah was saying with I guess when do you know not to help? Because if you done did it already and they refuse to do it, they would rather be in this world.
Yeah.
When do you just be like, okay, I need to stop, or do I keep going to try to get this person in? Because clearly not everybody's gonna make it.
We can only do so much. Like Sister Dana could tell you, you can only put so many seeds in the ground. You can
There you
only
go.
water that thing so much. You can only, you know, you can only do what you could do, and the Most High is supposed to give it the increase at the end of the day. Like,
Yeah, and if you put so much energy into that, then you're like other people are losing out on getting it too as well. And
right,
you try to make sure that that one friend is going to get it, just like your family members. Not everybody's gonna is going to make it, and I would like for everybody to make it, but it's just not going to happen.
It
right,
also tells us to once you try to admonish or encourage someone and they don't seem to accept or be even interested in what you have to say, then you got to dust your feet off and just pray for them, or let your example be a light to them. And also, according, I agree with Sister Yeshaya as far as we need to present opportunities where others can see the correct behavior or path or options to take. So it's one thing with saying it and reading the scriptures and presenting it like that, but we're letting our light shine and presenting opportunities so they can see us actually doing it and finding joy in it, and it's just a way of life. Like, we meet here on Thursdays, or we have Bible study on another day, or we get together and go to the movies, or we get together and have date night with other couples, or we get together and have a community event. So those kind of opportunities we need to create
right,
to encourage people to come to the truth and stay in the truth.
right. Don't have to be, life don't end, right? Because you choose to go right. You know what I'm saying? So I like that you brought that up, because modeling and fashioning the fact that when you go right, that this is what it could look like. You don't have to, hang up hang up your fun skirt. Well, maybe you do, but you do, you maybe you do, but I'm saying you don't have to hang up fun. You don't have to go in the closet and catch dust. You don't have to hang up, being bubbly and being personable and being outgoing and traveling. You don't have to hang those things up, right? But we do have to create that atmosphere where other sisters can see that, hey, she went right, and that worked for her, because they're not thinking about the future. Like, our foreparents, a lot of them, I see it says a lot of our parents didn't really model the best fashion. They did the best they could, you know. But so we're looking at, okay, you went down that fork in the road. um and it didn't kill you. Let me do it too. You know how some people say, well, my grandparents been eating pork for years, so ain't happened to them. So what's gonna happen to me? But you know, you gotta think. You gotta think. Imagine your future ahead if you do this option.
Wanted to just add the scripture from Sister Dana, because
Okay.
I raised my hand earlier. I was going to bring that out. Matthew 10 and 14 about, and whosoever shall not receive you nor hear your words, when ye depart out of that house or city, shake off the dust of your feet. So, yeah, thank you, because I was going to actually bring that out too. But I also want to make a comment about, just being models,
Right.
like back when I was growing up, they was like, oh, let your light shine, you may be the only, word that a Bible that a person may see.
Mm-hmm.
But I will tell you, what really drew me in is my brother, my younger brother. Um, for a lack of better terms, my brother was straight hood. He was street. as all get out. And he was just really hardcore. Um, before I came into the truth, I will always try to talk to him from a a traditional Christian standpoint. And it was so challenging because he did not want to hear it at all. He did not want to hear it. When I tell you he came into the truth before I did, and I saw how Yahweh changed his heart, it transformed him. Now, my brother is a roughneck, but when I tell you the gentleness, um, the gentleness that came over him, he was still true to himself. His personality did not change, but to see him humble himself, speak about Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, praise and worship them, that it was so beautiful. It because I saw the change in him, I was like, wait a minute, hold up, I want to know more. And I think that that's what we have to, you know, we have to share that with other people. Like, allow our light to truly shine and walk in our authentic self. There is absolutely, like, my brother's personality didn't change. He's still cool. He's still like, you may look at him and think of him. You may look like, oh, wait a minute, hold up. You might side eye him, but if you had a conversation with him, you'll see how kind and how much he loves Yahweh. And you like, oh wow, I almost judged this brother by his appearance.
Mm.
And I think that's what we have to share with other sisters. We have to let our light shine, and that would draw them in, because I know the transformation of my brother's life, it drew me in.
If you're a light, that light is seen. It is bright. It's infectious. It's like, oh, if you go near it, it's like, you think of that candle light. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna burn you, but because it's light, right? And so, like, to when I just saying, like you just said, sis, when we modeling it, what does it really look like for you on a day-to-day basis? Are you inviting? Are you greeting other sisters that you see? Because it could be just that one, hey, how you doing, sis? We don't talk to each other these days. We do not talk to each other. you know it could be just that one thing. And people notice you. They notice you because you look different already, right? And then a lot of the times they don't say anything to you because we already look like we set apart. So it's like, let me not say nothing to her. She looked like a Muslim, number one. Two, maybe I shouldn't talk to her. But so again, back to what we were speaking about in the last thing we did. We your what was it? Your nonverbal communication, right? Are you inviting? Like, I know we have a hard day, we got played off sometimes, but it mean a lot to somebody else, because you're supposed to be that light. You might have that rock on your shoulder right now, but we still got to be that light, because somebody else around you needs to be infected by light, right? Right? Because there's so much darkness around us. We can't, like, let the darkness fade us too, because that rock on our back, like, you still got to be a light, right? But I like that, sis. I like that. um like you were saying, with the situation, for somebody that's maybe dating, for somebody young or proven, there's no such thing as, it's like, what is the thought process this sister should have? Like, there's no such thing as boyfriend and girlfriend, right? Again, being able to reach out to somebody, taking the time to prove and have patience, because people be thinking, I gotta be in a relationship, I gotta, be in this. Okay, I'm done with this one, let me jump into another one. Like, we're not taking the time to really think. Sisters are not taking the time to really think. What happened to you in that last relationship? How does the Most High see you dating, 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 dating? You know. But so yeah, not necessarily somebody that should know better, but again, for the ones that should know better, we need a reminder that, hey, you need to pick up the phone and call your sister, because you ain't choosing the right path right now. You ain't making the best decision right now. Sometimes you need a reminder. And we had to remind each other that,
Sometimes we're
hey,
not fully,
you got my number.
yeah. And sometimes we're not fully committed, or sometimes you waver depending on what's going on in your life, you know. So and right now things are tough. You could easily get swayed.
Right, right, right. And so yeah, like some of us have decisions in our lives right now that we need to make, that we have to make, that will be, whether we're thinking about a move, a relationship, our children, on and how that's gonna fashion our lives moving forward. And the conversation is, okay, are we thinking, are we picking up the phone and getting advice? Are we seeking counsel? Are we, you know, thinking about what it would look like if I went right, or what it would look like if I go left, instead of just leaning on our own understanding. And somebody said it earlier, you know. Um, and when you hit that fork in the road for any of these situations, whether it's dating, peer pressure, things at work, some people, I mean, what would you do? You at work, and you're trying to be personable, and they always inviting you to go out Friday or Thursday night to go have drinks. What do? These are worldly women. What do?
You
You
decline.
you go have drinks. You can't have drinks.
Nope.
I don't know what to say about that one, because you could, like, some of my friends know what I don't do, and they know not to be disrespectful around me. Like if we all go out to eat, they know not to order pork or the shrimp and stuff like that. But that's kind of hard, because, like, I know you're supposed to only be with those who are equally yoked, but I feel like if they got an ear to hear and they're listening, that somewhat kind of works, maybe. Because maybe eventually because everybody got their own time. Everybody has a different time when it comes to coming into the truth. So who knows when it's their time?
True, and not saying that's wrong or right, because I agree. You feel them out. These people. You say they're your friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people. You feel them out. But how many times do you go out for drinks and try to be the light while you out there having drinks or whatever it is, and you still see that they just adamant about going left? Do you continue to put yourself in that situation? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
right.
Then if they doing like shots and stuff, no. If it's just like, oh, we're gonna get something to eat, okay. If it's Friday night, they know dang well not to call me or anything on Friday night.
Right.
So I'm like, hey girl, you wanna go out there? We're gonna go to Chili's, okay? But to go to a bar, no.
Yeah, Sister Yakodesh, we should all know our limits, strengths, and weaknesses. We can be a light at any time. I agree. You have to. And for some people, they can't even do that because you don't know yourself yet, right? You could be easily led astray. It could be simple Chipotle at Thursdays, and it just go down the left path because it led from this to this to this. You know what I'm saying? So, like, so yeah, you gotta know yourself. You gotta know your abilities and your strengths, and to know that you're not gonna be peer pressured into, the next stop after Chipotle.
I know for me that the drinks would not be it for me, because I don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
So that would not be the event for me to go attend. Yeah.
Right. It's just a scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sure you got it?
So I actually know a sister who is pretty new to the truth, who is in that situation. So the job went out on a Friday night. Someone was retiring or something. It wasn't like a birthday party or anything, but they found themselves not leaving, and Shabbat started coming, and they didn't want to be rude. you know, like sister felt like she didn't want to be rude and just leave, you know, and so the suggestion was, well, if you go out with your coworkers, which is fine, and it's a Friday night, you know what time Shabbat's coming and that you need to be home, you need to give them heads up. Hey,
Mhm.
going out to eat with you all, but by 7:30, I'm packing up and I'm heading out. I'm gonna go ahead and order my food as soon as I get there so I can pay for it. You know, so you have to, and that's being the light, right? Because otherwise you start compromising.
Exactly.
And going into
Right.
that territory of compromising. Oh, I'm just gonna hang out with them. They know I'm in the truth. They know I'm walking in the light. But yet they're seeing you still out after Shabbat or paying for your meal, even, you know, right after Shabbat, you know, and things like that. So it's really about being mindful, you know what I mean? In everything that you do. And you don't necessarily have to cut everyone off if you're mindful. But you still want to protect that light, you know, at the same time.
And have boundaries, conscious. Con.
And in doing that, you're being an example to them. They know what to do, and if that opportunity presents itself to them, you know,
Right.
they get into the truth and they know what their
Right.
options are.
Yep. Perfect chance for you to use them abilities there in actions. Sister China, you
Mm-hmm.
got it.
I was just gonna, I can relate specifically because I think for me, I didn't have when I came into the truth, it was pretty much by way of my husband because he was starting to realize some stuff too. And somewhere in there, I knew I was going to figure it out, but I just hadn't started yet. And I noticed that once I started to like see the same things, and I was in those same predicaments. You know, you have these so-called holiday parties that you think you have to attend, but you know maybe you just don't do so much. Maybe you two-step instead of like boogie on the dance floor. You know, you just do it. You just do a little things like a little bit differently. But what I did find out was that some of us, including me, what I struggled with was like I knew what I think I needed to do, but I just was having a hard time with the commitment or the conviction of it. Like it was almost something that I wasn't used to feeling because you would always get put in predicaments prior to knowing the truth or knowing the word for what it is and be kind of like coerced into it's still okay, don't worry
Yeah.
about it. So sometimes, like you said, once I started seeing a few things, then I was like, oh, you know what? Like Sister Stride said, you can plan ahead. You know, we had a son that was in football for a while, and we were like, oh, when can you buy the ticket? Okay, buy them ahead of time. You know, football games, basketball games. If we could pay for it ahead of time, we did that for a little bit, and then we were like, okay, this is starting to feel weird, just because of the whole fact that we're still out here past the time, for example, and it is supposed to be Shabbat, but we're doing something that we now see as like a pleasurable thing and not something that is actually supposed to be as edifying as we thought because it's entertainment. So it went from all right, well, we're not gonna smile and clap as much to okay, we probably ain't gonna, we probably just need to just stay home when those games are
Yeah.
happening. But it is good to have encouragement when you run into other sisters who are trying to figure it out because with me, I didn't have a group. I didn't have any woman kind of telling me. So like someone was saying earlier that we know, but everybody else is not really gonna know. And the only way they will really know, especially that you're for real, because they could have questions in their mind about just church people. Okay, well, some Christians do this and some Christians do that. Well, which Christian are you? And they won't necessarily know what you're supposed to do. So if you start to kind of exhibit and behave a certain way, a lot of them will get the hint and some of them will start taking a courtesy to what's
Right.
going on or even accommodate you because I mean technically it is what you're supposed to do when you consider all things. Like if someone has allergies, you're supposed to consider that before you just serve somebody something. But even in a group setting, they'll start to kind of like behave just a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And if you're confident in what you're doing, it
Yeah.
won't feel like you're being ostracized. It's just kind of like the truth of the matter is they're not even going to come your way with that if they already
Mm-hmm.
start to see that's not how you are. Now, if you already
Exactly.
have a demeanor that way, they're just going to respect it more and just not create a thing unless they're curious to want to know. So it's one of those things that I've experienced. all of that. And it took me some time to figure it out. But the things that I did know, I did the same thing. I politely said, "Oh, can't do it this way. Is it all right if I don't show up? Can I pick a different day to work?" I did all the things, but sometimes you end up figuring it out in the moment. And for me, what happened was once I did something and it felt like a compromise, I initially felt bad for what I decided to do. And then after the fact, I go, okay, never again. This is what I need to do differently. Because sometimes it just won't, it'll blindside you, or you'll end up making a decision thinking you're still okay. And then you just end up having to learn after the fact and, repent for whatever it was.
Exactly.
And try to do it again.
Exactly. Consis. Yeah, and that's what we was talking about. Again, I don't know if I used the right phrase, but once you make that decision, you can't take it back. Once you make the decision to, it's already done, right? So we got to take the time to really think. Take the time and call that sister. We didn't have. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't. A lot of us didn't have that growing up. Who the heck could you really call on to give you good advice? To really, and a lot of times you did, but we didn't take it, and a lot of times it's because they tell us one thing, but then they doing a different thing. So that's not really helping me if you're telling me one thing and doing the next. So model seemed like the key word for tonight, the consensus for tonight. But yeah, when you come to that sticky situation or that thing in the road, whether it's at work, out anywhere, at home amongst people that are really not as like-minded as you are, maybe, we have to put to use what we learn in. What am I learning? Okay, this conversation at work, it sound like it going left. It sound like it getting kind of worldly. Let me button myself out. It's time for me to, what I say, watch the time is what the scripture say. Keep watching the time. That's my cue. Let me get back to my cubicle. Okay, it ain't nothing, because even for me at work, like I kiki kaka with some of them. It took me a minute to warm up to a few of them, but I kiki kaka, and then when I see it start going down that slippery slope, I turn right around and they don't see me again. They be like, "What princess at?"
You left. Where's
I leave them in the dust. They don't see me. And so they're starting to realize, okay, when I come to them, like, "Oh, princess ain't gonna talk about that. You're damn skippy." She's not gonna talk about that. It's the perfect time for you to show them. And so they learn it without me even like telling them, but showing them, hey, I'm not about this conversation, or you know what I'm saying? I ain't about that life. This is what they can see when you do that. So you have the opportunity to put what we're learning to use. Let your conversations be always chaste, right? These type of things. Calling somebody for advice, and it just looking at what would this look like. Okay, they're asking me to go out for drinks. Let me zoom into the future a little bit and see what that might look like if I do this. I mean, you really gotta do that. Hey, this guy want me to date. He want me to come over. I'm not saying this because teens and younger people be watching these things, right? Let me zoom into the future. Oh, this one said I might get pregnant too soon. This one you got to look down that road and really think ahead. You know what? No, let me apply what I learned. It says no sex before marriage. It says no dating. There's no such thing as boyfriend and girlfriend. All praise to the Most High. With that being said, sisters, please unmute yourselves and chime in, because same time, same place, ain't nobody unmute. That's messed up.
All praises, sis. All praises.
Everybody.
Same beauties. Chase made.
It's our
Shalom.
We gotta get in sync. Y'all is messed up. We got to get.
You put in the chat next time. You could be on point.
We're getting right next time.
Shalom, y'all.
Shalom.